Hey there! About a month ago I posted my review of Minari and got this comment recommending Burning. And hey, this week I did watch it and didn't have a particular video planned, so as promised, here are my thoughts. I actually had a lot of fun watching something recommended to me in this way, so if you guys want me to watch whatever film, leave it down below in the comments and maybe we can make this a series of sorts. I'll put my Letterboxd in the description so you can see what I've watched. But yeah, on to Burning. Because I had this recommended to me and want to give my full thoughts, I will give a spoiler warning here. Going into this, I'd only seen one film by Lee Chang-dong prior, which was Secret Sunshine, which was a downer and a half. Secret Sunshine was honestly one of the most exhausting films I'd ever seen, and since I had seen nothing else from the director, I kind of assumed this would be something along those lines. I was surprised though. This was sad, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a barrage of pain. It was more like a sadness that was always approaching our characters but never at the forefront except for some key scenes. And I did find this movie oddly hopeful. Not for the protagonists, but for the audience. The movie wasn't saying the world it presented was the end-all, if that makes sense. Whereas Secret Sunshine was just like, wow, the world is hopeless. This felt more along the lines of the world is scary, and if you don't take care of yourself, you're gonna get hurt. Both of these caused pain for their respective characters, it just felt different to me as an audience member, I guess. Either way, let's actually get into it. I loved this movie and was super glad for the recommendation. The story is relatively simple at first glance. At its core, the film is about a love triangle of sorts with a lead that has trouble saying what he needs to say. But in between the lines, there's a ton here. We see how our lead perceives the world and how he never quite cares about what he probably should. He can hear the North Korean propaganda blast from his house but doesn't even think about it. He has the world news on his TV but he isn't listening. That kind of thing. There's important stuff all around him but he misses it, which is an idea that comes up again and again. Obviously, eventually, Jong-soo is told that he can't see things that are too close to him by Ben right before the climactic build of the film. The way the story is told is often not in the foreground, and that really appealed to me. If you take the film at face value, the core story isn't bad, but what made this film such a treat was the amount of thought in between each moment. In fact, now that I'm reflecting, the story structure is kind of fascinating. Once you have the whole film, it's probably best labeled a thriller, but it doesn't really reveal itself to be that for something like 2 hours. That level of genre non-conformity could have really hurt a worse film, but it definitely works here. A lot of that comes down to how engaging our three main characters are. A lot of that comes down to the writing as well, but I'll take this moment to acknowledge the reason this was recommended to me in the first place was the acting, and yeah, it's fantastic. Steven Yeun is charismatic and unconcerned and basically completely opposite to his character in Minari. Yeun definitely has a range and does really interesting work here as the mysterious playboy of sorts that he is. Yoo Ah-in, hopefully pronouncing that right, plays the lead Jong-soo that I was talking about. A lot of this film wouldn't work without his performance. The audience needs communicated that our protagonist has trouble communicating, and that is no easy task, but it's pulled off incredibly well here. And then Jong Seo-jun plays Hae-mi and brings a lot of depth. Her character is fun-loving and free, but clearly carrying a burden of existentialism. The Twilight dance scene is a great example of the actors understanding the characters super well. She's performing the big hugger dance she learned, which should remind the audience that she's seeking these huge answers to life questions, but then Jong-soo can only ask why she undresses. She's asking such huge things that she doesn't see the effect of the moment, and he's so caught up in the moment that he doesn't see the bigger picture. The disconnect is extra tragic since they never see each other again after this point, since she's then killed? Or maybe not? It's intentionally vague, and I do almost wish we got a proper answer. There's the pantomime metaphor throughout, and the film very explicitly refers to the idea of seeing things that aren't there. At one point, our female lead even says she can taste a fruit when she pretends to have it. The film bringing up this idea of convincing yourself of answers makes me question the conclusion of Jong-soo, but who's to say? I guess it doesn't entirely matter though. The point isn't whether or not she's killed, but how our lead perceives her disappearance. I'll definitely have to watch this again now that I know the whole film and what it's going for. A lot of my first viewing was trying to figure out even what the point of things was. I wasn't disengaged though, I was just confused sometimes. But yeah, I really enjoyed this and should see more by the director. Thanks for the recommendation, and hopefully I get more of those in the comments because I'd love watching movies. Yeah, it was great. This has been on my list since it came out, but I never got around to it, and who knows when I would have otherwise. I'd love to watch more that you guys want me to see. For now, though, have a good one, and I'll see you next Friday with another video. Peace.